In today's video, I will be making these luscious chocolate coffee toffee muffins as part of a collaboration that was put on by Ingrid from Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles. In this collaboration, we were to do something with coffee. So stay tuned for this luscious recipe. This particular challenge is an open challenge. Anyone who wants to do it can do it, and I will have the playlist linked in the description box below. And if you decide to do one of these videos or to do this coffee challenge video, just let me know and link your video in the playlist. Alright, so in this bowl I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that you're going to add 2/3 of a cup of packed brown sugar, 1/2 of a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, and I use this special dark, so everything I make with this baking cocoa comes out darker, but that's okay, I love dark chocolate. It also calls for, and this is where the coffee comes in, 1 tablespoon of espresso powder. Well, I didn't have any espresso powder, all I had was some instant coffee, so I just doubled it, and I have 2 tablespoons of instant coffee granules. Then you're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and you're going to just combine all of these dry ingredients together in the bowl. So in a separate bowl, you're going to mix the wet ingredients, and that consists of 6 tablespoons of butter, melted, and you can see it in that bowl right there. But because this is a dairy-free version, I am using this Smart Balance Light with olive oil, and that will take the place of regular butter. I'm going to go ahead and dump this melted butter in here. It's a little bit on the hot side. I think I might have let it go a little bit long in the microwave. And then you're going to also add 1.5 cups of buttermilk. I don't have any buttermilk, and even if I did, I couldn't use it because I'm doing this dairy-free. So in this measuring cup, I have 1.5 cups of cashew milk, and in order to make it acidic like buttermilk, I'm going to add just a little bit of apple cider vinegar. Normally I use lemon juice, but I don't have any lemon juice. I might as well just go ahead and use the rest of that. So that was probably about a tablespoon and a half of vinegar, and that curdles the milk and makes it acidic like buttermilk, and so it does the same, it has the same chemical reaction in your baked goods as regular buttermilk does. And you can do that even if you don't have a dairy allergy and you don't have buttermilk. You can just take regular cow's milk and add an acid to it, and it will turn it into buttermilk. So I'm going to go ahead and add this milk to the butter. Now we do have buttermilk, haha. That's my corny sense of humor. And then you're going to need to put 2 eggs, 2 large eggs, and I'm going to be using duck eggs today. These are from my Khaki Campbell ducks. They lay green eggs, and because they're farm eggs, I'm going to crack them into a separate container to make sure there's nothing funny going on with them. That's what you always have to do if you have farm-raised eggs. That one looks perfect. That one looks perfect as well. Add the eggs. And then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract to this bowl as well. Okay. And I just have a fork here, and I'm going to blend this up really well. break up those egg yolks and blend it up. Once this is well combined, you want to add it slowly into the dry ingredients. And you don't want to overmix. So I'm going to go ahead and add about half. Blend that up. Go ahead and add the rest. Just till it's well blended. You don't want to overmix it, but you don't want to leave big clumps of things that are not mixed well either. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then the last ingredient you're going to add to the muffin batter is 1 cup of chocolate chips. And you just want to stir those in. Take it off my mixer so I can get in here and scrape down the sides and just make sure it's well mixed. The bad thing about this KitchenAid is that sometimes it misses some dry ingredients that's down in the bottom. So I always just run a spatula in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add the chocolate chips now and just stir those in. Okay, so for the toffee crunch topping, we need to mix in a separate bowl the topping, and you need 1/4 cup of flour. So I'm going to go ahead and measure 1/4 cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, there's 1, and 2, and then 1/2 cup of toffee bits, kind of like a Heath bar. Well, my problem is that with having to be dairy free, it's very difficult to find toffee chips that are dairy free. So I was able to find these through Vitacost, and they are not exactly like Heath bars, but they are toffee, but they're dark chocolate covered. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and use, and I need 1/2 cup of these toffee bits. So my camera memory got full and I didn't realize it, but you didn't miss a whole lot on that clip, but I will recap. I added 1 tablespoon of my Smart Balance butter to this and then mixed it well with a fork. So I have my oven preheating at 375 degrees. It's been preheating this whole time. And you just go ahead and fill your muffin cups with the batter. So then once you have your cups filled, about 2/3 full, then you're going to want to put a little bit of this crumble topping on top. And there's enough batter here for 2 dozen muffins, it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and get this, all of the muffins filled and get them in the oven, and you bake them at 375 degrees for 20 minutes or until a cake tester comes out clean when you push it in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and when they're all done, I'll bring you back and I'll show you what they look like, and I will probably do a taste test. Here they are, and it made almost 2 dozen. It was 1 shy of 2 dozen, and the toffee brickle chips on the top melted into the muffins a little bit, but that's okay. So let's take one of these and break it open and see what they look like on the inside. still nice and warm and gooey. Ooh, yum. Look at that. I'm going to take a bite. The kids are dying to jump into these. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. So these muffins are absolutely delicious. They're not super sweet. You don't really taste too much of the coffee, but it does add like a depth of flavor to the muffins that just plain chocolate would not. So I highly recommend that you give these muffins a try. The recipe will be in the description box below. I want to thank Ingrid from Mommy and Mia Homeschool Chronicles for hosting this challenge. And like I mentioned, you will find a link to her channel and a link to the playlist in the description box below. If you have a really yummy coffee recipe that you would like to share, feel free to join this challenge and just add your video to the playlist. Thanks a lot for watching, friends, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.